Hello, cosmic friends. It's Carlene Saelg with Interstellar Chats and my co-hosts,
Kristin Anderson.
and
James.
we're so excited to be back with you today. We are going to talk about clones. We alluded to it in our last episode, but it is something that is quite weird and what do you want to call it? I don't know more than just weird, but it is something that we should talk about, right? Because there are some anomalies happening with the way people look, the way they sound, and we got to call it what it is. People who are clones. Okay, what is your idea about these clones, James? What have you heard about it or seen or examples of or something like that?
Well, I mean, there's lots of examples of political figures that do not look at all like they did originally at the beginning of their career. Many political figures do not look the
And
same.
let's just take out the aging process, right? Because aging, still you look like yourself, you just have a few more wrinkles and saggy eyes and black under, you know what I mean, circles under your eyes and things like that. But when you look completely different, this is what we're talking about, right?
What about plastic surgery?
Exactly. There's plastic surgery, but when your eyes turn from blue to black, there's something weird there.
Or the shape is different, or the spacing between your eyes is different, noticeably different.
Yeah.
You know you're dealing with someone who has been cloned. Now, let's just get this straight, everyone. Cloning happens. If you don't believe me, do a little research. We've already proven it. What was it? George W. Bush came on and said something when he was in office about they finally did allow the cloning of an animal. Wasn't it a sheep or something?
Yeah.
That happened. So we know they did it with animals, and let's not pretend for even a nanosecond that they didn't, that it stopped there. Okay.
Oh, hell no.
Because it did not.
Yeah.
No.
It did not. And they've been using it in military and all the government installations and beyond. So we know it happens. You may just not be totally aware of it, but we're going to call out some of the things that you could maybe take some notice of when you are looking at people. And if it just registers in your brain for even a tiny fraction of a moment where you say, that person looks different, that feels weird, they don't sound the same. Look at it closer.
That's your intuition right there.
Yes.
Yes.
And use the magnifying glass of maybe it is a clone. Maybe it is something we should take a little closer look at and dive deeper on it and find out what you think, what you say, because your intuition, the way you feel, is your own sovereign truth. So it doesn't matter what I say or what Kristin or James says. It matters what you think and what you feel.
Yes, because we're all having that different experience. You have to really ground into your own experience. Okay, so tell me some instances, because I'm very curious.
Well,
of like clearly, obviously cloned individuals.
Who should we choose, James?
Well, Hillary Clinton, I mean, they show, there's so many different images of her where she's different heights. Like all of a sudden, her face may look just like Hillary, but she becomes different heights, and your height does not change, you know. So, but that also could be, just a lookalike too, filling in for her.
Could be.
That would have to
That
be a
could
really
be a clone.
good. Oh, right.
Standing in for her.
Yeah. Maybe that clone just didn't get fully grown.
Right. Well, also, I mean, we can even talk about Joe Biden. Joe Biden also 100% does not look like the same person.
Well, he's the one who with blue eyes that turn black.
Right? Exactly.
Really? I gotta check it out. I see, I don't follow the news at all, so I don't know about these things. So I'm researching it on the fly here as we go.
Yes, she's actually pulling up some pictures on the internet, and then just type in a name and look at images, and you can see a ton of images that are going to show you different phases of that person's life when they looked different and when they, looked different.
right? Okay, so here's another thing. So as a photographer and a retoucher, I have very little trust in an image that I see online.
This is true.
Because I've been a retoucher for a very long time. And I remember I'm going to tell you a little story. I got a job. It was for, I forget what magazine, but they wanted me to retouch a picture of Toni Braxton on the red carpet. And are you ready for this? This
She's
is
a
my
singer,
list
yes?
of
She's a
Toni
singer.
Braxton is the singer.
Mhm.
This is my list of things to do.
Okay.
Boobs larger, eyes bigger, hair longer, waist thinner,
Ooh.
legs longer.
No way you can do this?
Yes.
Ugh.
Face thinner, like a thinner and elongate the whole body and face. This can be done so quickly and so flawlessly that when you see the image, you are never going to know. You would know. And they ran that, you know, they wanted her dress longer. She had a mini skirt and they wanted her dress longer. So I changed her dress. I changed her legs. I lightened her skin
And
color.
did you
I
get permission?
thinned her face. No.
No.
No. No.
Poor Toni
But,
Braxton.
you know, yeah, exactly. So, you know, and that was just part of the media. I never worked with them again. Not because of that, you know, I would have worked for them because I needed the money. But, and that's the thing, you know, so you can retouch anybody's eyes from blue to black. I mean, at this point, it's a filter.
And that's a photograph though, right? And of course we have AI now. So
Now
they can,
AI is crazy.
it is, and that will totally change your whole look about you. But photography aside and Photoshop and all of that, we're talking about live
person.
TV, right? When you are seeing something streamed live, or you're in person and you're like, gosh, this doesn't quite look right. This looks different. This person looks different, feels different. How do we deny that? Do we deny our own eyes, our own mind and wisdom to say something is different, something is off? No, I don't think we do. Because there are people who are clones, and it's not just one time that they clone them.
Right.
You can even do a search for clones that are glitching, which is weird, right? Where you see something that is just bizarre, like there is a tick or a twitch that happens that just doesn't stop for a second, you know, or they call it what, a glitch in the matrix. That's really that person, not necessarily the timeline, but it's usually that person. But yeah, you can definitely see, like, that is a different,
Yeah.
I wish we could show you this, but we don't want to put images of the president on our on our channel for you to see. So do your own image search of Joe Biden, and you're going to see a tremendous amount of people showing you that, even talking about him as a clone, or the conspiracy theory of him being a clone.
Very interesting.
And you can see the differences in his bone structure, in his eyes, how far apart they're set, the color, just so many different things. And absolutely, you should look at Hillary Clinton too, because there was a lot of glitches that happened there. And I want to tell you about an instance where I thought, oh my gosh, this is not Hillary. And this was during the 2016 election. I was very into the political scene at that point, right? Because I was like, yeah, go Hillary. And I was listening to what she had to say. And I'm telling you, this woman was like a freaking angry robot. She had it was monotone, and it was like she was yelling into the microphone on every debate, on every interview. There was no cadence to her voice. There was no passion, no passion, because it was strictly anger, but it was like she had no empathy, if you will. Like there was no intonation, I guess that's the word, where you have different, you know, flux in your speech pattern. There was nothing like that. It was just pure angry rhetoric that was coming. And I remember saying to myself, if she would just stop yelling at the microphone, people might look at her like she's an actual person. And when I said that, it clicked. I was like, whoa.
I've never watched any of these speeches. I mean, I'm really like, I opt out.
Right?
Yeah, it's just
I'm
too much for
completely
me.
out of that now. But back then, I was definitely plugged in and listening and, wanting her to win and all this stuff. And, gosh, my mind about politics is blown completely off since that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot call myself America Public. I cannot call myself a Democrat or a Republican. I am my own sovereign being, and I will usually vote for the human being trying to make global change. Yes, and not a clone who is a weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the whole two-party system is crazy. Yeah. The whole thing is it's a dog and pony show.
Yeah.
So, I just want no part of it, which is funny because I was a big part of it at one point.
You were?
Yeah, with the whole Trump election.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah, but that, but even before then, I just feel like politics is just such a huge part of the programming of society. And it's just,
And
unfortunately, you kind of have to deal with it because it's part of our society.
True. And we're picking on political figures because they're easy to pick on and they're in the media all the time, nearly every day, right? So there's something where we can see the differences and we can pick on.
What about
different things?
Hollywood?
Right? Yeah, Hollywood too.
Who in Hollywood's a clone, do you think?
No, but the question is what's the why? What's the why?
That's a good question because I was thinking, like, in Hollywood, do you need a why? Like, are there clones in Hollywood, like actors and actresses?
The why doesn't matter so much, but in politics, I can kind of see the why. Why?
Right.
Agendas change and
yes.
Well, sometimes you see in Hollywood or people who have ultra fame, whether they're a musician or an athlete or an actor or what have you, that, a year or so, typically a year after they make it big, usually something big with their appearance changes, whether they lose a ton of weight or their face looks different. They just looked so much more polished and put together and just completely different, like it's almost a new person.
Yeah.
Are you aware of these things happening?
I mean, I see it happen.
And we just toss it up to plastic surgery.
Or they have a lot of money and they have a whole staff like editing them at
Exactly.
every moment.
But is that real?
I mean, they do have a whole staff editing them at every moment because I was in that business for a while. I mean, you've got your makeup person, your hair person, your nail person, your brow person, your tan person, your stylist, the one who sews you into the dress, the one who takes the picture, the one who does the lighting. I mean, that's a team that goes into making them look like that. So could they be real? Yeah. I mean, they could.
Of course they could be.
Especially if they've got the funding, right? That's why I think Pam Anderson right now, it's so interesting because she's just doing all this makeup free
stuff. I haven't even seen her in the
and she's just lately. Like, I'm not wearing makeup. I have no team. I have no stylist. I have no makeup artist. And she literally said all the things that I just said, but with no in front.
The fair Pamela Anderson.
Yeah. So I don't think she's a clone.
Right.
Probably not.
Probably not if she's, willing to do that.
Yeah.
But again, we're just tossing it out there.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We're
just
guessing.
Talking.
Yeah. But I wonder how the clone, like, okay, so political clones of high officials, how does that work in conjunction with like multiple realities, right? If there's like, so let's just take Joe Biden, for instance, because we were talking about him. He's president now. So why would he need like a bunch of clones if there's a bunch of other Earths where he's doing different things? I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, what's the...
I guess it's because he's got access to this reality, that particular Joe Biden. we may not have access, I guess, to all of the other realities.
Or also if he died, right? And they don't want us to know he died,
Now, see, there I can
Right?
see, yeah.
what if that happened?
Or if he's
I-
on
I-
vacay somewhere and just doesn't want to show
Or
up.
he's just totally in the full throes of dementia and can't even put a sentence together. I mean, that kind of is happening right now, but maybe there's a clone that's taken up for
Yeah,
this
so the
problem.
deeper question, just like you were saying, James, is like, why? So why would you have to front that? What's the agenda behind that?
Control.
What'd you say?
Control.
Control, power, control, money,
Yeah,
finances,
right.
military,
Keeping the people calm.
docile and dumb. No, we will not, what is it?
I don't
We will
know.
not agree, we will not consent. We do not consent.
This aggression will not stand, man.
We do not consent.
If anyone gets that reference, just drop it in the comments.
You watch way too many movies for me to follow, so I don't know.
Someone will know. And if you know, you're my peeps. That's funny.
Excellent.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. The whole clone thing is very interesting, but for sure, they didn't stop with the sheep, which actually is interesting because that makes me wonder about our food source.
Oh, they're
If
doing
they're
it
cloning
too.
sheep, like if you're
I'm
eating
sorry,
burgers, is that just all cloned cows that you're eating?
If that's cow.
Right, because now they're also, what is it, lab created meat, or I mean they're doing that. They are literally
I don't know.
fabricating
Yeah.
food in a lab and
Right.
passing it off. The government has said, whoever this, I don't even know, I should know because we just jumped into this conversation and there was no chance to research, but there is a company out there that was able to get the FDA or whomever, the USDA, to approve this lab created meat
I'm looking it up
and it
right
be
now.
sold as actual real animal product.
Upside Foods. The future of meat is here. Taste the difference with
Meat.
Upside Foods cultivated meat.
Meat grown by animal cells, meat grown in a lab. Are you eating that? Because I'm not eating that.
You might be eating it and you don't even know it.
Well, I don't eat beef and pork anymore, so hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, if you eat meat, I don't eat meat either. Occasionally though, I will go out and get a grass-fed burger, like once a year.
But
I'm not faulted for that.
did you ever read the book Thea Uba?
I did, because of you, I did.
Right. And so in that book, they talk about going to another planet, and the people there grew their meat. And they ate fish and they ate meat that was lab grown.
Whoa. Wow.
I don't know what to feel about it. I don't know what to think about it, and I don't know what to feel about it, because it's still a living being, but is there a consciousness in there? Is there, I mean, and I'm not even going into the ethics of eating animals or stuff like that, but
Right.
just purely as a food source. Is it
That just
properly grown, not full of chemicals, all of that stuff
Who
is
knows? That's crazy. Yeah, wait, but that brings me to Jurassic Park. I mean, that's a whole movie series that is based on cloning.
It is. This is another movie I haven't watched.
Oh,
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
you're
I'm
coming
not
over for
kidding.
movie night. That's it.
Jurassic Park is about cloning?
Yes.
What?
Okay, the dinosaurs come from.
I don't know.
Clone them from
Honestly, I never thought about it. I'm showing that I'm really stupid about movies right now. So
No, it's all about cloning, but I'm gonna ruin it for you. In the very last in the last series of movies,
it makes sense now. I'm thinking about it. It makes
right?
sense.
Yeah, in the last series of movies, the man who started Jurassic Park, John Hammond,
Uh-huh.
his daughter had died, or Pierce might correct me. He might pop his head in here, correct me. Maybe it wasn't John Hammond. He had a partner, Lockwood.
Mhm.
Lockwood's daughter had died.
Okay.
And in secret, Lockwood cloned his daughter. Nobody knew. He called her his granddaughter. You look just like your mother.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until I'm getting chills. It wasn't until the very end of the movie that the granddaughter, because she's always trying to understand who she is.
Mhm.
Who am I? Who am I? And in the very end, she realizes that she is actually a clone of her mother. And she is a clone, just like all of these dinosaurs that they have in cages.
Well, do they even dive into the consciousness aspect? Do they dive into
She
the fact
does.
that she has a soul or does not have a soul?
Well, she does have a soul.
Okay,
And she's
but this is
very
also a
conscious.
movie, but we
It is a
don't we
movie.
don't know for sure if that's the case.
Well, science fiction isn't really science fiction, right? That's why we're here. So
Yeah.
wait, in the end, I'm going to spoil it for you.
Okay, that's okay.
There's the whole world is like going to being destroyed.
Mhm.
And the whole island's becoming, it's going to go down, and they're going to blow up this building. And all these dinosaurs are locked up in this building, and they're waiting there, hitting on
Like
the
little
open
little
button.
dinosaurs. I can't even
No.
picture a dinosaur in a building.
No, T-Rex in a building. And many others that you've never heard of in a building.
A
And some
gigantic
hybrids
building.
that they created in the lab. Genetically hybrid creations, like a sheepdog,
Right.
like a sheepfish,
Oh my gosh, what does this sound like?
right?
Atlantis?
Atlantis,
Or like
yeah.
those watermelons that taste like salmon. You know the ones?
Oh my gosh.
What happened to old-fashioned seeded watermelons? These are
Mhm.
genetically modified watermelons,
Yeah.
and mine taste like fish, and
Oh,
I'm like gnarled
gross.
out by it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gross.
So anyway, she hits the button. The little girl hits the button and frees all the dinosaurs, because she said, they're just like me.
Oh, this is in the last one?
This is the end of I ruined it for you.
Oh,
I
it's
know.
okay. And she
But
lets all the
lets them
dinosaurs out.
She lets them out into the world,
Hmm.
because she's like, they're alive. Like, they are clones, yes, but they're living beings.
Mm-hmm.
And who am I to destroy them?
Hmm.
Right? It's this whole thing. The whole series is about
Okay,
this,
so
cloning.
how many is there? Like, is this something I'm gonna have to binge this
Yes.
week and watch?
You won't be,
Jurassic
yes.
Park?
You're gonna come to my house and binge it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
you
as
can
many-
watch it on the big screen. Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
Okay, so clones,
Clones.
it is of my opinion that a clone is a genetic match, right? It is the actual mirror, not a mirror, it is the exact
Blueprint.
replica, right?
Mhm.
A replica of the original.
Yeah.
But how do you have the soul
Hmm.
if there's two
Yeah, you can't
or three
replicate
or
the
four? How
soul.
can you replicate that? So there has to be a clone that does not have a soul.
Well,
This
can
just
it
makes sense.
Can't it just be, fragmented? Can it
I
just
don't
be
know.
fragmented?
I don't know if I'm smart enough to know that answer.
I don't know about that, right? I don't know either. I don't know about that.
I don't
But
know.
if you cloned, like, if I took a little like bit of your shoulder and created another James, why would a portion of your soul fragment and go into that new body? I don't think it would.
I don't know. I would think it would have to do with the mission, whatever the mission I signed up for was.
Well,
That's a
you bring up
factor.
a very good point, because what if what if our technology gets so good that we are able to build you, or I guess we already have cloned an individual, and you specifically say through your own free will, I think I want to be in that very healthy body, my clone of myself, and your soul can move into it, and then your other one just kind of dies off.
What
Or-
movie does that sound like, people?
Uh-huh.
Avatar, anyone?
Oh, yeah.
At the very end, when she's dying and they create her a new body, and they try to transfer her soul into the new body, but it's too late. She's already too far gone.
Oh,
And so she doesn't
okay, so we have a
transfer.
lot to think about.
I mean, the people making these movies are downloading the information from somewhere.
They are 100%.
Yeah.
They are. So it just goes to show that this stuff is really happening on this plane, on this planet, like right now. How do you feel about it? And what would you do if you even had the opportunity to have a clone? I mean, sometimes I joke and say, gosh, I need a clone just to get through this day because I've got so much to do.
That would be amazing.
Right? But then what do you do with that person when you're like, okay, I've had enough of you, turn you off for a little while so I can have my life.
Oh my God. Imagine being
I
faced
think
with
it'd be
yourself
great.
every day.
It would be great. I like my own company.
Yes, that's awesome. And I hear you on that. I mean, if you are, oh, my shirt turned into a blanket.
I love it.
Okay, I get that totally. But which one of you has a soul or is empty? Or do you get to decide you're going to just fractal off and give a piece of you away? But does that make you less whole? I mean, there's so many ways to think about it.
What if it is like a kidney or a liver, and you can take just a slice of the soul and put it in something else, and it grows to fruition, just like a kidney will.
I guess I never really thought of it like that, because I just always imagined myself to be whole and my soul to be complete.
Yeah.
But if, and this is also that we're getting, I think, into string theory, right?
We're getting into splitting souls here. This is
right.
This is deep.
Because if there are several timelines happening all at the same time, and I'm living in these different timelines, my soul is in all of them, right? Or is it not?
Is it not?
Like, which timeline is my soul residing on?
I would say the timeline where your consciousness is focused is where your soul is living, but their opportunities are there.
I like that. I like that.
You can jump with your consciousness
focus.
is jumping the timelines, right? It's your consciousness, and that is your soul, your consciousness. That is the energetic consciousness, the will of the one. Whoa.
Like my head is just exploding right now. So much to think about.
Right?
Okay. We dove right in the deep end today, didn't we? Okay,
Yeah.
so if you have more to say about clones, please let us know, because just comment, because we could probably have another episode or two just on this conversation, because there's so many different directions to go. And I guess I need to go watch Jurassic Park now.
Right? That's a good one.
On that note, thank you all for tuning in to the Clones episode of Interstellar Chats. We love you being here. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a like, all the things. You can also find us on Spotify. Okay, see you on the next episode.
See you next time.